Oh, there he is.
There he is.
There
that
he
fake
is.
Family portrait. Still in the background.
Still in the background. They haven't kicked me out.
Season 7. Season 7. Season 7. Season 7. Season 7.
BetSafe.net.
Back at work today in the work office. For those of you watching on YouTube, Puffy has not left home yet and will thus be likely late for the show once again.
No, not if we knock this out.
Okay, and Lester, for the second time in 3 weeks, absent, but will be joining us. Lester was a last-minute delay because he had a meeting he forgot.
It feels like anyone can just show up whenever they want for this podcast. And I don't know who's running it, but it's time to get your soldiers in order here.
Yeah.
Right.
Lester is taping his meeting, and that will be our Tuesday bonus pod this week. So that's the good news.
Hopefully there's insider secrets. What we're doing.
By the way, the listeners have no idea of this, but Puffy was supposed to still be on 6 minutes ago, and he just joined us now. So even though he's on for the start of the podcast, unlike last week with Jennifer Jones, he is still late.
No, what happened was I'm charging my phone currently. And so I came downstairs at 1 o'clock and tried to log on, and the host was not there. And just kept doing it, kept trying. Host is not there. So then after about 15 minutes, I'm like, okay, let's see what's going on. I walked upstairs, and then I see you guys have decided to delay the podcast. And then so I came back downstairs and then gave you time to set up because you guys need to set up the record. And then I tried again and it worked. So I was not late. I was prompt, but I figured this was some good, gentle hazing for my behavior last week.
I actually, when you started that story and you went back upstairs, thought there was going to be a masturbation in there somewhere between the two.
Oh, there was. There was. Once I knew I had that extra window of time.
Right.
It's extra 3 minutes.
That's all I need.
Ray Ferrara, by the way, apologies to our listeners/viewers. Again, I've got the fluorescent lighting today. I don't look at my TV self. And I was hustled today. It was a very busy time with Grey Cup week. We have a Leafs game tonight. Jimmy's a little frazzled, didn't bring his headphones. So it's natural. It's audio au naturel today. So I hope that's not too annoying if you're listening in your car or on your headphones at work. I'll be better next time, I promise. So Ray Ferrara, on the masturbation topic. That's a good intro.
Wow. Speaking of...
So we were in Winnipeg this week for the Western Final. Thank you, Winnipeg. Great hosts. Love everybody in Winnipeg except the one guy I'll tell you about in a second. But Ray Ferrara was also there with Gord Miller for a hockey game. So it was all these TSN crews coming together at once at the airport. And Ray Ferrara told me that, I'm trying to think if this was a bunch of hockey player buddies or just buddies in general on the crew, who notify each other when they're on the road together when they have pleasured themselves. They keep a count going on a road trip. So it's like a scoreboard thing. Mm-hmm. So they'll be in a group text much like ours and say, hey, I'm at 7. And the guy will be like, oh, just got to 6 a minute ago. Which,
wow.
Again, to our female listeners, men are just idiots. More proof, right?
That's fair.
I could picture Puffy in that group just being like 7, 8, and 9 suckers.
It's a competition. Let's just say I would take it serious.
So I said people in Winnipeg were great. Another great weekend. I was frozen. I will admit, maybe we've discussed this before. I grew up in Ottawa, and I feel like Ottawa is the coldest capital in the world. That I was a tough kid. Right? I grew up in cold ass winters. And then I moved to BC for 1 year. And then I moved here. And now I've been here for 2 decades. And I've gotten so soft. It's remarkable how quickly you get soft, how fast you lose your Canadiana. And so in Winnipeg this week, the start of the game wasn't too bad. It was snowing. It was like -5. By the fourth quarter, it was like the wind chill was -30.
Ooh.
Okay. And so as Sarah Lesky mocked me relentlessly, she's on the sidelines the whole game. I could duck back in. I'm not doing play-by-play. I'm hosting, so I could do a thing at the end of the half, duck back in, come out. So I only came out with maybe 8 minutes left in the game because I have to do the trophy presentation to the winning team. And so I was probably out there, and then I had to do a couple of panels with Jim Barker and Farhan Lalji. And so I was probably out for a total of maybe an hour. I was so damn cold. Did you see the post-game interview with Winnipeg quarterback Zach Collaros?
With you? No.
He could not speak. He was like this. Sarah's a big win for the team.
When you look at this, the adversity that this group faced, when was the last time you were a part of a game like what we just saw today?
I don't know, but it's amazing to get the win. It really shouldn't have been that close. We gained a bunch of points the first half, and our defense kept us in it, and we finished there at the end.
You're understanding right now what it's like to be a sideline reporter in this.
Yeah, I don't know how you do it.
Some big catches from your receivers, but what can you say about number 33 and what he was
33's back, man. He's back. It's great to have him out there. Offensive line was rolling. It was awesome.
Go get warm. Congratulations, Zach.
Like he was frozen, like legit frozen. So I don't know, you Winnipeggers, Saskatchewaners, everybody in the cold parts of the country, good on you because Jimmy's soft. And I'm going to guess that Stoff and Puffy are also soft.
Minus 30s, that is very cold.
Well, I mean,
yeah.
If I ever got invited on one of these road trips, which a bunch of our listeners, by the way, when you tweeted out that picture of, I guess, Winnipeg right before the game, were asking where Lester and I were. So I guess we'll never find out how soft we are. However, I do have an interesting fact for you here, Jimmy. Ottawa is the 7th coldest capital city in the world. So number 7. Number 1, Mongolia's capital.
Really?
Okay, well, that's what I grew up with, okay? Maybe it's the coldest capital of, like, the G8 countries or something, or the G7 or whatever. Are you going to tell me now that the Rideau Canal is not the longest skating rink in the world? Are you going to ruin all of my childhood thoughts about my city?
You would have been better off if you were conceived in Mongolia, clearly.
Maybe he was. Maybe he was.
Stoff, on that point about listeners and viewers writing to ask about you guys, I want to wait till Lester comes on because he'll like to hear this. Just remind me when Lester comes on. I have one more story about Winnipeg. All right? Mm-hmm. One more story about Winnipeg. For now,
we're not going to ask him about his week, though, right?
No.
It's about Jimmy's week.
I mean, we would have in the first 10 minutes of the pod, but he wasn't here for that. Yeah. He'd also probably like to hear this, but I don't care. We're going to do it anyway because he's not here yet. A rare version of A-hole or A-OK.
Ooh. Is it A-hole or is it A-OK?
I think you guys know me well. We've been friends for a long time. Jimmy's not a confrontational person. In fact, I do not like confrontation. Very much. I have if it has to happen once in a while, sometimes things happen, but I avoid it if I can avoid it. If it's necessary, it's necessary. Mm-hmm. First, definitely in public, very not confrontational. So Sunday morning of the Western Final, Coach Jim Barker, former Argos coach, former NHL CFL GM. He's my panelist for the weekend. We get dropped off at the Winnipeg Stadium in a cab. Now, it's a snowstorm. Like I said, not freezing yet, but it's a snowstorm. And you have to get dropped off the back of the stadium for the media entrance. And the security guard guy at the front of the parking lot says, I've been told I can't let any cars in here. We're in a cab. So we can, the entrance is probably 300 yards away. It's a little roundabout. And so the cab would drop us off and come back out. So Coach Barker, he doesn't mind confrontation as much as me. He says, come on, buddy. Come on. The cab's just going to drop us off. He wasn't mean, but he's just like, the cab's going to just drop us off. Now Lester's coming in, so I'll have to start the story again. Anyway, that's all the time we have for today, guys. Awesome job, both of you. And we'll see you next week on the Rubber Boots Podcast. Thanks for joining us, everyone.
A lot of laughs.
Good times.
Another classic in the books.
There he is.
I know exactly what you guys are doing. There's no way you guys are finished.
It's barely started.
Point by you.
Puffy just got
Freshly
here a minute
shaved?
ago.
Yeah.
What's
We
that?
should let's let Lester give a little love to Movember. Lester did a great job. He's now cleanly shaved again.
Thank you very
Well
much.
done,
Yes,
well
it worked
done.
out very well. Very, very pleased. Thank you everybody out there for the support, and it was fun. I enjoyed the process for sure.
I just realized I forgot to donate to Lester's campaign.
That's all right, man.
Getting them next year.
Unfortunately.
Listen, you're rich. You're rich by life in so many other ways, James. It's okay.
Ooh.
All right. I'm in the middle of a story, but Lester, let me go back to the other one before I forget.
Please.
We were talking about Winnipeg in the Western Final. 3 different people. 3 different people yelling to me from the stands. First one, say hi to Lester and Stoff. Second one, where's Lester and Stoff? Third one, tell Lester and Stoff I love them. No Puffy mentions. 3 Lester and Stoff from the crowd.
The only way that makes
Big and a
sense is these are 3 listeners that were for the Jennifer Jones interview, and they only stayed for 5 minutes. That's the only reason that could have happened.
Or their day one Lester and Stoff show
Stop.
fans.
That's
Absolutely. Stop. We should do a thank you pod just for that, for those guys.
I
those
think we
listeners.
should do a tour of Winnipeg.
Wow.
Just different parts of Winnipeg. We'll do live.
That's
Yes.
a great idea. I'm not going in the winter though, just so you know.
Fair enough.
Is it possible it was one guy going to 3 different parts of the stadium and changing his voice to make you guys feel better about
And
that? I've
it
often
works.
said that our listenership, whatever it is, 20,000, whatever listens to this podcast, does not reflect when I go to football games. Because if there's only 25,000 people at a football game and 3 or 4 people are yelling about the Rubber Boots podcast, well, if you project that over the entire nation, that's like, do the math. That's like
The math,
500,000 people, Puffy, right?
Yeah.
500,000?
I would say almost over half the country, to be honest with you, in my mind. But
That's right. 3 out of 25,000 projected would be half the country.
Yeah. If you round up.
It's a lot of
Exactly.
foreigners at that stadium.
Okay, Lester, I'm glad you joined us because we just started a rare edition of A-Hole or A-OK this season.
okay.
We played your wonderful theme.
Thank you.
And I was talking about going to the stadium on Sunday morning in a snowstorm and a security guard not letting our cab drop us at the door. We were probably 300 yards away from the door. And Coach Barker, he wasn't happy. So he gave the guy a little bit of a piece of his mind. And Coach Barker was paying for the cab because Jimmy doesn't pay for cabs. And so I walked up and I said, I got to say something to this guy. And I don't usually say something, but I just said in a very kind way, I said, buddy, just think and be nice, right? It's 9:00 in the morning. The game doesn't start for 6 hours.
Mhm.
We're not going anywhere. The cab's going to go up to that roundabout and come out. The cab doesn't want to go in there and park illegally. I said,
Mhm.
think. Just use your head and think. And just be nice. Just be nice, okay?
Mhm.
He didn't respond to that the way I thought he would respond.
What did he say?
He said, I'm the head of security and I don't make any exceptions. So when I said you're not coming in, you're not coming in. So now Jimmy was a little angry.
Big power
Of course.
guy.
Because I've always felt like security guards, and I'm sure we have security guards listening. I don't really mean security guards in general, but parking lot security guards are on one of the great power trips of all time. And if we have any parking lot security guards listening, I'm not trying to loop you all together, even though I just did. But the odd parking lot security guard, this is their place for power in the world. So then Jimmy got a little passive aggressive. And I said, still in a very calm voice, I said, pretty much what I just told you. I said, bud, listen, I know that this is your place of power in the world. This is where you can be all powerful. Okay?
Mhm.
Very passive aggressive, kind of a-hole. But again, I'm just saying, you got to use your head. You just have to be logical and you'll get further in the world that way if you're just logical and nice to people. This was his comeback. Now he's right in my face. I'm 21 years old. I'm the head of security. I make $50,000 a year. That's more than you'll ever make in your life.
I love this guy.
Wow.
This guy's awesome.
Wow.
Jimmy, you better not take it that.
You should.
Wow.
I frankly, I just couldn't think of a good answer besides, being braggadocious, which I wouldn't be. I have to admit, I was impressed that at 21, he was making $50,000 working the parking lot at the Winnipeg Stadium. That's not bad,
Damn good.
I kind of doubt that one.
Slow little quiet clap, and I don't know why the head of security
Would be working
would
the
actually be
gate.
the guy out in the snow at 9 a.m. blocking the parking lot.
Because he takes his job that seriously. Let me just say, I hope he's one day the head of security at a major airport so we don't have the terrorists winning. This guy's shutting things down. The security guards you like, Jimmy, would be letting everyone just walk through.
Wow.
I did. You know what? I wish I could tell you guys I had a great comeback, but I didn't. And I kind of thought about all day all the comebacks I missed. But I think I said something like, "Yeah, you just keep telling yourself that." That was just a terrible comeback, right? That's all. That's all I had.
Jeez.
So
You should
anyway,
have said something. You should have said something like, "I got Seuss worth more than that."
I didn't want to do the comeback.
Yeah, I know.
So was I in the wrong? Should I have just accepted my fate and walked through the snow for 300 yards? I felt like I was backing up Coach Barker a little bit because Coach Barker was the first one who got mad at him. So I'm like, I kind of got to follow up Coach Barker and give this guy a little bit of trouble. Should I? Look, he's doing it. Probably his boss, the real boss of security, has told him no exceptions, no cars get in here, right? But
yes,
was Jimmy wrong to be passive aggressively in his face? Oh, Puffy is saying yes.
Oh yes. I'm team security on this one.
You know what? I'll be honest with you. I think the guy was rude, to be truthful. Roadhouse, Patrick Swayze, be nice.
Oh, I thought you meant
Gosh, I'm sorry. I
should have ripped his throat out.
No. Be nice. Guys, I'm sorry. My mandate says I can't let this car past here. I'm sorry. You guys are going to have to walk. Or something like that. Now, here's my question to you, though. Did you not show your media accreditation?
Oh, he didn't care.
That's his media accreditation.
And again, gets me in anywhere, baby.
Right there.
Look, it was only 300 yards we had to walk, but it was a snowstorm. So, I mean, was it a little prima donna-ish? Maybe. But you're right, Lester. Like, to me, if he had said in the first place when the cab pulled up, "Hey, guys, I'm really sorry. We just can't let any cars in here," it would have been fine. But instead it was, no one's coming in. No, out here. And that's what set Coach Barker, who's also a nice man, off.
I think initially you guys were probably the a-holes for pushing for it, since this guy can't let you in. But at the same time, he was clearly on a power trip. It's just he shouldn't have behaved the way he did. So all good, Jimmy. You got to sharpen up your comebacks.
I do. I really do.
Hey, George, the ocean called. They're running out of shrimp.
Oh, yeah? Well, the jerk store called. They're running out of you. Hey, nobody busts my chops.
Congratulations, George. And it was it was a tough travel weekend for the coach and I. And I hate being the complainer about travel because I'm so fortunate to go to these games. But Pearson Airport on Saturday morning was the single worst I've ever seen it domestically. I've had some bad experiences at customs before the Nexus days, but I can't even describe to you how bad it was. And so I would not have made my flight if not for Coach Barker, because I showed up like an hour and 20 before, which I figured was time. I didn't have to check my bag. Well, that's good, isn't it?
90 minutes.
Not anymore. Not anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
You're lucky that parking attendant wasn't working the security line.
I was there like 10 minutes before the flight. I don't understand why they didn't let me out right away.
You have your boarding pass. You have Nexus. You're not checking any bags. That's plenty of time to get to a flight. So the Nexus line And if anyone's not familiar with Nexus, it's the trusted traveler thing where you have to fill out 8 million forms. Puffy, you have it now, right?
Yeah, but mine got during the pandemic did not re-uppy, and so I'm in a little bit of a limbo.
Do either of you guys have Nexus?
No, I do not, unfortunately.
Plethora of first world problems.
Look, this whole discussion is going to be somewhat first world problem. It's a traveler problem. So the Nexus line, you go to the airport, there's the regular line. Then there's the, you can get a priority line if you're in business class or whatever. And the Nexus line, okay? So some geniac had decided to combine the priority line with the Nexus line. By the way, advertisement. I think part of the problem is you can get these new credit cards. I got it Aeroplan because I thought I was going to lose status because I haven't flown. You get this new this is not a sponsor. They can sponsor us, but you can get this Amex Aeroplan and you can get priority line just by getting the credit card, right?
Ooh, wow.
Just so make sure you don't show the number on that bad boy.
Oh.
Numbers on the back, isn't it? Yeah. Numbers on the back.
Rewind.
Numbers on the back. Numbers on the back. Damn it. Anyway, I think my philosophy is that too many people have these credit cards now, and so everybody's in the priority line. Anyway, it's a boring story. Boring story. The point is, they only had one little security thing open and there was 500 people in line. So if I hadn't gotten in with Coach Parker, who was like 30th in line, it still took us an hour and a half. But the point is,
you butted?
Okay, hold on. A-hole or A-hole?
Now we're talking a-hole.
Wow.
Hold on.
Wow.
Yikes.
Hold on.
You had a tough weekend, buddy. Tough weekend.
I see Coach Parker in line. I say to the 3 people behind him, I'm traveling with this gentleman. Do you guys mind if I come in? All of them say okay.
Now, what about the 297 people behind them?
Screw them.
I'm starting to see this from the 21-year-old's point of view.
Yeah.
Kids making stacks, and this guy's trying to get special treatment. Playing fast and loose with the rules.
Let me ask you this. Were you at the point yet where the flight attendant would have said, anybody going to Winnipeg, they would have fast-tracked you?
Well, I find that happens in customs. But I don't know that happens in security much, does it? Because in customs, they'll say flight to Houston or whatever, and they'll move you to which is crazy in a way because it defeats the purpose. You're rewarding people who got there late, right? In a way.
Yeah, kind of like the butters.
It's like when you sit on the plane and they're like, we're just waiting for 2 more people, and they're paging them through the whole airport. It's like, let's go.
But to Lester's point, I was kind of expecting that, and it didn't happen. But then I was thinking in my head, like I saw a bunch of other TSN crew guys come in after me, the guys who travel all the time for hockey, and they were further back in the line. So I figured, it was a mess. So you knew the flight was going to get delayed. But here's the point I've been working up to for the last 15 minutes. This was the real problem. So you only had one little security gate. So you know how you put your bag through, and then it can go one of 2 ways. It can go through, or it can get flagged, and it takes a little turn and goes down the other route.
Oh, no.
This dude, Mr. X-Ray, I don't know if it's his first day on the job or who pissed in his Cheerios, and I'm not exaggerating, 9 out of every 10 bags to
come on, guy.
So once Coach and I got through security, we waited 40 minutes to get our bag because the pile of bags there was 40 like it was 50. I'd never seen this before. And all the guys, they have to change their little plastic gloves every time. So in my particular case, in almost every case, there was nothing. Somebody had one little liquid they didn't separate or whatever. I separate my liquids carefully and all that. So the guy's going through my bags, picking out my underwear and sex toys and things like that. Oh, I mean, sorry. So he gets to, I was going to Winnipeg. I had the Hot Pockets. Yeah. I had one for my, I brought 2 for my hands, figuring I'd be out there a long day. I'd change halfway through the day, and 1 for my feet. 3 Hot Pockets.
Hold on.
Goes, this is it.
Hold on, one sec. Question. Do you have 2 hands, right? Do you not also have 2 feet?
Yeah, no, you idiot.
Each
you get
pack is
two
a
Hot
two.
Pockets in one package.
Yeah, I got that, James.
Oh.
So what was the third pack?
I'm not the only one. There's listeners that were confused.
And producers.
Here's my thinking in packing. My feet. I'm not going to take off my boots in the middle of the day and put new Hot Pockets in, but in my gloves it would be easy to do. Thus,
we're talking about the microwavable snack here, right?
No. What's
So no, here's an actual question, because I've always seen those at the dollar store, like the you open it and I guess the heat. That stuff actually works.
Yeah, really good.
Oh, okay.
Really good. Better in mittens than gloves because you can hold it right up by your fingers. And better, I find the hand one work better than the feet, but they're very good if you have to be stuck outside. In fact, they're lifesavers. So this dude tries to tell me, he goes, this was the problem. This is why you got flagged. You had 3. You're only allowed to carry a maximum of 2 Hot Pockets. I'm like, you got to be kidding me. There is no rule in the Canadian transportation system about a maximum number of Hot Pockets. There's no sense that rule exists.
I think it does.
Wouldn't it be funny?
Just aren't playing by the rules, buddy.
It'd be funny to find out after the fact that there was some type of like a just for laughs gag or something like that, and Jimmy's the.
I was looking for the hidden cameras.
Ashton Kutcher's hiding somewhere.
Yeah.
Anyway, beyond that, people in Winnipeg were awesome. Got to go for the Saturday night beer with Roddy and dinner.
Oh!
Unfortunately, it was not the 2 nights early. So Roddy and I, 1 beer each. Professionals to bed. Puffy would have been very disappointed.
Come on.
Oh,
yeah.
Disgusting.
I don't even know why you bothered to tell us that story.
Yeah, it's awful.
Also, Puffy, a warning for Grey Cup week this week. I know that you're going to be, Puffy usually partakes in the Grey Cup festivities, right?
I enjoy it to the town. Yeah. Safely.
We have to get tested every time you go into the stadium.
What?
So if, like, let's say Roddy, for example, or Jimmy or Kate Burness or anyone test positive on the day of the game, we can't do the game. So, like, if Puffy is out carousing Thursday, Friday, Saturday night, you test positive, Puffy can't be there for the game. The whole show falls apart.
Ooh, so all the party not to work. You're pretty much asking for it at this point.
I should have held off 1 week on my booster.
Anyway,
is it deep test or is it just a little
rectal?
Some sort of
rectal, I heard.
Ooh, rectal.
It's the quickest way.
You're like, I just went outside again. I better get retested.
Puffy, you're here every 10 minutes.
Yeah, it's been 9 today, sir.
Puffy, you don't smoke. Yes, I do. I smoke.
Smoking all day long.
Okay, let's get to our session. Stoff has put together another lovely bit of information for us here on the Rubber Boots podcast, brought to you by our friends at BetSafe.net. I'd like to say hello again to our friends at BetSafe.net. I forgot to mention them off the top, as I often do. So why don't we do a little thing called Things I Saw on Twitter, brought to you by BetSafe.net.
Freaky pigs, strange chicks, world affairs, polar bears, fake news, nice shoes, big boobs, jack dudes. All of these things and more as I sat on the shitter. Things that I saw on Twitter.
Perfect. And this could also be BetSafe. Breaking news.
Breaking news.
I also
have a breaking news gambling related after this.
Ooh, I like this. Double the breaking. Okay, we'll start with this here. And as you'll see, behind me, I have the wonderful picture of the Jetsons and their family car. And the reason for that is this tweet, I believe. Puffy, did you send this to our group?
This wasn't me. It was
James.
James. All right. So. Well, nevertheless, quite a good tweet as well, and it basically shows a vehicle that flies. This is a one-person one, so I guess kind of like the dog behind me there. And it looks like one of these Jetson vehicles. It is a Swedish startup group has designed the Jetson 1, a personal electric aerial vehicle that anyone can own and fly. Now, I already have a problem with that last part because there's some people that shouldn't be allowed to walk. But so probably not anyone should be able to own and fly these, but pretty crazy glimpse into the future. What do you guys think?
Well, I noticed it because I think it's cool. I have a lot of flying dreams. We haven't done the dream segment in a long time, but my good dreams are usually about flying. I love to fly in my dreams.
When you say you dream of flying, like you dream of being on a plane?
No, I dream that I'm flying.
Such a lovely day to go flying.
Oh, wow. Okay. I don't think I've ever had that.
I have a lot of flying dreams, and I get very sad when I wake up and I wasn't flying. But this looked cool. Like it looks almost like a kid toy that's real. Having said that, I was trying to look at it. It seemed to be hovering fairly low above the ground. Like this doesn't look like something you're going up in the sky with. But would you die if you crashed, or they have like F1 type, material on this thing that will be okay?
Well, as someone pointed it out in the comments section of the tweet, they don't show it taking off or landing. So, you probably don't want to be the first one to test the technology out. So
it's not the right
cool.
brothers; it's the wrong brothers.
Yes.
Now, Stoff, you said that there was some sort of crazy info on the timing of this.
Well, yeah, this just completely blew my mind because I already had a Jetsons story I was going to present to you guys this week as part of I read it on Reddit. And what I came across was on Reddit, they calculated that George Jetson, the father from the Jetsons, would have been conceived this past weekend.
No way.
His birthday on the show is August 27th, 2022. So he's born August of next year. He would have been conceived now. And the reason I found that crazy was because what I was actually going to bring up to you guys is like Jetson's about to be born. Where the hell are the flying cars that we were promised? Boom, by the time he's 40, this is going to be a reality.
Yeah. Well, we're there almost.
Yeah.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah. So, like, how old does Mr. Jetson look there? Mr. Jetson probably. They have I can't
40.
remember. They have a kid.
Yeah, they got the kids. Yeah,
they got the kids. They got a dog.
Probably my age.
Yeah, I'd say he's
my age around there.
Around the 40, 45.
I'm not sure if we'll have the flying dog thing behind them in 40 years, but
why can't they just bring the dog in their own pod? I don't know.
That's a good question. Maybe dogs have taken a step backwards in the future in terms of their
or maybe they've gained their independence.
That's true.
That's like dog rights right there. Gets his own vehicle.
Do you think there's young listeners who don't know who the Jetsons are? Or
100%.
Is there enough nostalgia out there now that people understand?
But they will
No,
soon.
I don't think so. I don't think so. I think the Jetsons. For me, I'll say. I mean, I knew the Jetsons, that song, but I don't know. I can't remember a lot about it. I didn't really watch a lot of Jetsons. I was a Looney Tunes guy.
I would have seen more Flintstones than Jetsons, I'd say.
It was Hanna-Barbera, I believe. It was the same company, I believe, that produced it. But the Flintstones was definitely a bigger deal.
Yeah.
What else you got, Stuff?
It's a photo of, I believe this is a Republican representative. He has his whole family all holding semi-automatic weapons. And the caption says, Santa, please bring ammo. My question to you guys, given that these guys are clearly from the South and rather trigger happy, if you are indeed Santa, is this a house you want to get caught tiptoeing around?
Not at night.
No. Something tells me it's not going to end well.
No.
I think we may have talked about this on a Christmas episode before, but there is somebody I follow on Twitter who every Christmas posts all the pictures of kids getting guns for Christmas.
Yes, we have.
And there are hundreds of them. On Thanksgiving, I don't know if it's the same person or a different guy. There's another guy on Thanksgiving who goes through and posts all the tweets of Americans talking about hot cousins.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I saw that.
It's very funny. And there are tons. I guess you must just do a Twitter search for hot cousins. Mm-hmm. And there are hundreds of Americans who are like, got to sit beside my hot cousin tonight at the Thanksgiving dinner.
Very weird.
Well,
it's very weird.
In the family.
We love our neighbors, especially our one listener in Pittsburgh. Brian Kelly, this is probably a little old by the time you listen to it, but it's worthy of talking about. The new coach at LSU who did his first speech at an LSU basketball game and suddenly had adopted a Louisiana accent.
Well, this is a great way to get started, and I haven't even won all my games yet. It's a great night to be a Tiger. I'm here with my family, and we are so excited to be in the great state of Louisiana, but more importantly, to be with you great fans.
Now, I have a little sympathy for this guy, and tell me if any of you, like when I go, do any of you fall into the traps of being in a different province, Quebec, or a different country or state in the United States, and you do start to adopt the accent a little bit? Have any of you fallen into that?
After how long?
I don't know. Like
3 hours for James.
3 hours?
I will say my daughters and son have given me a hard time that after like a week in Turk, sometimes I'll start to do a little bit of
Oh, no.
That is just...
No.
And they're so
I don't even
embarrassed.
think that's the same thing.
Welcome to Leaf Hockey on TSN. I'm James Dusty.
Just back from vacation.
Bob McKenzie and Jeff O'Leary are on the panel tonight.
The other thing that I definitely do, there was another politician who was accused of this. I think it was Kamala Harris a couple of weeks ago in France or something, started talking with a French accent in English. And I definitely do this. We went to Italy for 3 weeks and then Spain for a couple of weeks a few years ago. And I start to speak the old thing about speaking English with an Italian accent, hoping they'll understand it better, right? Do you have the fish? The fish today.
Hey,
the fish special. Do you have the fish special?
You're not using your hands enough, Jim. That's the problem. That's lost.
But why do humans do that? Why do we think they are going to understand better if we speak in their accent?
I don't know, but to answer you, to speak to your first question, I actually remember this is I was 18 years old. I was very fortunate to have been able to go to London, England, and Scotland with our high school band. And I remember getting there 1 or 2 days in, and every once in a while I would say a word with the accent. And a number of people said to me, whole sentences were coming out with the accent. Now, you're young, you're a little bit sleep deprived. But honestly, I did not intend to do it. It just happened, So, and my cousin Karen, she lives in London now. She's definitely got the accent.
You live somewhere, you'll pick it up for sure.
Yeah. So
sure.
it doesn't
Even
surprise
after
me.
A month or so, yeah. I could see that.
Yeah. Where did Jimmy go?
Just trying
Jimmy?
out his accents.
Maybe he took a call. But that's never happened to either of you guys?
No, my sister, I remember she went to Manchester for the summer, and she came back.
Oh, that's just a fun one to steal.
She was talking like, I got to go to the bog. I'm like, what the hell is wrong with you? She was all shit, total, I'm like, you've been there a month. Like, give me a break. But she was all in. But
that's the funny thing too about it is that my cousin, his girlfriend Susie, she's from Manchester, and you know what? The accent's never gone away. She's it's never going to go away for her. Yet if we go over there, we change. It's weird.
Yeah.
It's strange. And then you get into singing. Oh my God, Paul McCartney said, "Thank you very much. It's great to be here. I'm from Liverpool." And then I want to hold you. It goes right
just
away.
Singing it flat, technically.
Yeah.
They always do that. James has left this.
Guys, we've
podcast.
done it. We finally done it.
I don't know what's happened. I don't know what's happened. Wow.
Hey Lester, did you see that that Beatles documentary? The scene where Paul McCartney's writing the song.
I haven't seen any of that documentary yet. I will shout out to our president of TSN, Stuart Johnston. I happened to see him last week when we were talking about it, and he says it's unbelievable. And his point is exactly that: how much of a leader Paul McCartney is. So, I have not seen it as yet. I don't have that. I think it's Disney, if I'm not mistaken. I don't have it.
Yeah.
But I need to get that because as a music fan alone.
But the clip of him writing, coming up with this song. Is it's on Twitter or something, people have posted it, and it's probably about a 2 or 3 minute scene, and it's just I was just, as someone who writes songs, I'm sure I love to hear your thoughts watching it, because it's incredible. It's he's just kind of strumming and he's not even like lyrics. It's like he's mumbling.
Yep.
And then all of a sudden it just like starts coming. And then Ringo and George Harrison are kind of just watching him. And then Ringo starts like tapping and Harrison starts playing a thing. And then it's a hit song. Like, I can't remember the exact song. But it's like, and then he starts singing lyrics, and it's like, it's like, oh my God, like that's how. I wonder if it's done like that in some. I guess it is obviously in some cases, but it was pretty cool to watch a band do that. Like
Hi, everybody.
Yeah, what you're talking about is vocalizing. Yes. Hey, Jimmy.
Jimmy, we're just talking about the new Beatles doc. You missed the whole "What You Watching" segment.
Watching.
I actually have not seen it yet either. I'm very much looking forward to it, but I've heard that you're only gonna hate Yoko Ono even more. So.
Oh yeah,
I did see the clip, and I'm not sure if I'm guessing it was from the doc of Paul McCartney coming up with "Get Back." On Twitter.
That's the song. Yeah, that's the song.
Okay.
Have you seen that? Oh, that's what you were talking about.
Yeah, we were just talking about
that.
I still remember the song.
You see, I'm sure Lester is the exact same way, and I would love to watch you do it because that's always fascinated me. As you know, when I'm trying to come up with songs, I have no instrument, so I sit there in my head and go, "Don't take my goal away today." But to watch a guy on guitar like Paul McCartney, and if you watch it, Lester, he's like riffing. He's got a little bit of like a thing, but he's just kind of like mumbling words. Jojo, and he keeps on going, and finally it starts to come together, and then all of a sudden, get back, and he's got it like in 2 minutes.
Yeah,
song.
It's crazy.
Hey, listen, sometimes it's that easy. I'm writing my Christmas song right now, and I'll tell you, I'm no Paul McCartney, but definitely for me, I have an idea of some lyrics in my head, and it's the mumbling and stuff like that. By the way, you sounded a lot like Bob Dylan there.
I know. That's all I got.
Vocal inspiration.
I've told you guys before. I've entered one karaoke contest in my entire life. Peak Ski Resort. One Christmas, me and Brooksy were just dating. And I did Bob Dylan singing Madonna's Papa Don't Preach. And I won first prize. I still have the trophy. Papa Don't Preach. Keeping my baby.
What does the trophy look like?
A little trophy from some bar in I think it was Peak for sure. Peak, Vermont. A little Peak, Vermont karaoke contest, but a $2 trophy. I don't have it anymore. I didn't really keep it.
Please.
I think I got a jacket too. I think I got a Peak hoodie. It was a big night for Jimmy.
Nice. I'm sure that sealed the deal with Brooksy, by the way.
Oh yeah.
The performance.
Yeah. Brooksy I don't think she had any idea what the hell I was doing, but people were laughing, so she said, "Oh, maybe he's funny to some."
This may pay off in the long run.
Maybe play the long game with this one.
See those bags now.
What's that? Brooksy
maybe he'll get into security in Winnipeg. That's where they make big.
Brooksy and I have started watching. This is a sign. I don't know that we're officially old because I think the demographics for these shows, but for whatever reason, when I'm off, we started watching Wheel of Fortune and Jeopardy on CTV, the 7 to 8 combination. Jeopardy really makes you feel dumb.
It can.
The category last night was Canada, and I got 1 out of 5. 1
out of 5?
Oh my God.
Yeah, well, they were hard. First, it was this territory separated from the North. I'll give it to you. I'll try to remember the question.
Okay.
You guys can buzz in. This 10 years ago or 15 years ago, this territory separated from the Northwest Territories. Go.
None of it.
None of it.
Yeah.
How would you not know that?
It literally just happened. Like
when I went up in school, when I grew up in school, it was Yukon and the Northwest Territory.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And
it said
new
10 years ago. You weren't in school.
All right.
Keep going.
This subsidiary in the northern Yukon, this river is like a subsidiary of that runs into BC or something like that. What kind of question is that? Go, Puffy.
I don't even understand what you were saying.
Yeah, question. Yeah.
Some river that runs It was a river that runs from the Yukon.
This is why you cannot replace Trebek.
The answer was Klondike.
The Klondike River. Okay.
Klondike, yeah. I would have got there if you.
Okay, no, I got this one. Then they showed a house in PEI, and this house was based on the 1844
Anarchy
novel. Yeah, there you go. Anarchy gave us.
Seriously, you. I was gonna say, if you didn't get that one, I'm like,
it was the only one I got.
Stop watching Jeopardy. Gonna hurt you.
Where are we? Stop.
Just wrapping up things I saw on social media. I came across this tweet I found interesting because you had very thin walls in Regina. Comedian Hannah Dickinson tweets, "What's upsetting about hearing my neighbor have sex is realizing she can hear me ask my dog if we're best friends multiple times a day." Which I thought.
Pretty good.
Do we want to do?
That's funny stuff.
Do we want to do the barnacles or do we want to save that for next week? Maybe.
Yeah, let's save the barnacles. Let's tease it. Next week on the Rubber Band Podcast, brought to you by BetSafe.net.
BetSafe.net.
Barnacle information.
Hot barnacle.
It's actually fascinating stuff. I watched the video. I never. It's amazing to me, and it involves sex, so it might be as popular as our cloaca. Cloaca?
Yeah.
Cloaca.
We're big in the animal kingdom reproductive organs crowd.
Right. All right. So what do we? We can also tease. We're going to have a giveaway next week. We're going to give away some. We are big supporters of women's hockey on this podcast. We want to see it grow and take over the world. So we're going to give some tickets away to women's hockey. And what city is that in, Stoff? Because it will be a kind of a localized giveaway.
I have yet to confirm that, Jimmy.
All right, Stoff.
When I do next Tuesday night, you will know.
All right.
I think Ho's still looking for his swag from last year's contest.
Well,
did you not set out the swag?
Intern on that.
No, Ho told me not to mail his, just to give it to Puffy, which you know what it's going to turn into. However, I've had to sell Ho's just to defray the cost of shipping the rest of the stuff. So,
wow,
that's what it is.
Hey, Stoff, do I owe you money to shipping stuff?
A little bit, actually. I had no idea how expensive mailing stuff would be, first and foremost. So maybe another week I can tell my adventures at the post office, because it was quite fun mailing those things out.
Wow.
When I wrote Beauties, everybody that was in the book, I promised them a copy of Beauties, Hockey's Greatest Untold Stories, now available in paperback just in time for Christmas. And I promised them all a copy. And then I realized, the publishers don't take care of that kind of thing. They'll send out a few. I must have spent $1,000 sending out. And then you're spending money sending out books to, Sidney Crosby and Wayne Gretzky. But it's really not right to probably tell Sidney, hey, can we do shipping payment on delivery?
He did give you the story.
It was $8.87.
Yeah. Let's get to listener mail.
Listener mail. Thank you for listening.
All right, listener mail. So yeah, like you said, a lot of people were looking for us in Winnipeg. Joey Dearborn amongst them, Electronic Jordan as well.
Thanks, Joey.
We did have an awesome sign from Jordan Patswald, who was at the game last week with the Where's Puffy sign. This week, signs shouting out, obviously, myself and Lester, the key members of the pod. So that was awesome.
Wait a second. In retrospect, I only met Jordan once, holding up his child, holding up the Where's Puffy sign last week. Could Jordan have traveled to Winnipeg and been one of the 3 people that yelled at me, say hi to Lester and Stoff?
Yes.
No, because the sign he took a picture of was in front of his house. So
he still could have gone to the game. Who said he couldn't go to the game?
All right, well, we will investigate that and get back to you next week.
We're going to have a sign.
Regarding
still drive somewhere.
Regarding the Where is Puffy sign, Jorg from Hamburg, Germany wrote, if someone holds up this sign in Germany, it would be translated to Where is Brothel? So I'm not sure if they're kidding or not, but hey.
Fair point.
That's what I wondered. Germany. I wondered if that was if Jorg was making a Puffy joke there, or that's an actual translation that a Puffy is a brothel in German. Jorg, can you clarify that for us?
I believe it's pronounced Poofy, but yes.
Okay.
It's a
Makes
Poofy.
sense.
You know what? I'll write my buddy Scott Reynolds. He'll know.
He'll know where the puffies are there.
He'll send you a long list of the puffies. We are the podcast making people smarter. If you're ever filling out a crossword puzzle like this one in particular, 29 down asks wobbly dish ? And of course, Mike Blattman, thanks to our podcast, knew the answer was ass pick. There you go.
How about Aspic getting into Aspic? Do you think because of the Rubber Boots pod that Aspic has gotten into the general public?
It's
vernacular.
You mean the collective conscious of society? I'm saying yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
When I think rubber boots, I think ass pick.
Agreed.
At least the front half of that. There is also Greg Lockhart commenting on our Rouges our Rouge talk last week. He said he reffed the game this year where a team won a playoff position, I guess, by punting it through to go up by 1 with 40 seconds left. So it does happen.
Right.
Legit play, smart move.
I won a championship.
Guys.
That'd be great.
When you cross over the 50-yard line, why don't you just start booting it through the end zone? Just hammer it through.
It's a weapon.
I can't remember which
weapon.
game it was this weekend. It was either the Eastern or Western final, but in one of those games, there was an attempt for a field goal which went wide, but it went through the end zone, so they got a point. I think it was the Hamilton game. So yeah,
great strategy.
Great games, by the way.
I love all football. So I'm really bothered by people that are like, who cares about the CFL? Big NFL fans, and there are probably more of those in Southern Ontario that are like that than the rest of the country. But there are some that bothers me because if you like football, you should love any. There are bad games in the NFL. There's bad games in the CFL. I don't mind if you love the NFL more.
But exactly to your point, though, can you not? I can point out. I love football in general. I can point out what I feel are weaknesses in both games.
Yeah. And you're allowed to love the NFL more, and you're allowed to love the CFL more than the NFL, 100%. But I just hate the people that are like, the CFL should be dead. It's
NFL, they act like it's not a real league or something.
Come on.
That's just ridiculous.
That's very disrespectful.
And I love the NFL.
Stupid is what it is.
But I would just say this: if you want to you can make fun of the CFL all you want about Rouges or whatever. I don't think in the history of CFL someone's ever gone 2 for 3 passing, or was it 3 for 4?
2 for 3. Oh yeah, I thought it was 2 for 3.
I think it was 2 for 3, and won a football game 2 for 3 passes.
Game management.
That's
insane. That'd be a lot harder, Jimmy. That'd be a lot harder to do in a 3-down game, though.
Yeah, it would be, but that's insane. Good on the Patriots, but that's nuts.
Yeah,
are we done?
We're almost done. We have one more listener mail regarding TV shows to watch. Check out Only Murders in the Building on Disney Plus. Steve Martin Short, Selena Gomez, mystery comedy, 1 season so far. So
nice.
Looks good. I love Steve Martin. Gotta say that.
I would like you guys a gentle homework assignment. No immediate deadline over the holidays. I said this on our chat this week, but I watched the Kevin Hart, Wesley Snipes show called True Story. And I want you guys to watch it. And it was very reminiscent of Puffy and my relationship.
Okay.
That's all I'm going to say. I want you to watch it and see if it echoes our relationship as much as I think it does.
Am I the Kevin Hart character?
No, you're the Wesley Snipes character. I'm just kidding. I don't want you to be offended by it because Wesley Snipes is kind of the loser brother. I don't mean not the loser part.
I know what you're saying.
You're definitely not a loser. It's
you're
more,
just not the winner.
And I am definitely not. Of course, I'm not Kevin Hart, but people get killed and stuff like that. So that's a lot of. It echoes some of our road trips.
Yes.
What did I just say?
Yeah, that's
all right. We got to go. We'll see you next week on the road.
I got one thing.
I have one thing as well. You go first.
Go ahead. Okay, I have a gambling story from last night.
Okay.
I did quite well in the football game. I bet the under. So I took my winnings and I was sort of going through the bets and I stumbled across esports. And have you ever gambled on esports? Like you can literally gamble on two guys playing video games.
Mm-hmm.
They were playing FIFA soccer, and I in-gamed $50 on a tie.
50. Oh God.
And it was 1-1. And like I'm watching them play video game soccer, and I'm like, well, they're not gonna score. And the scored in the 88th minute to win the game.
Oh.
And I'm like, this is so dangerous. Because I was like looking at other games. I'm like,
I feel we should have a phone number underneath Puffy right now, just going across the screen.
Wow.
But it's crazy how you can gamble on two dudes playing video games.
I discovered this at the beginning of the pandemic when there was no sports on. That is what I did. I never went as much as 50 large. And the other thing I realized was these guys could be either in the same room or at least communicating with each other and whoever runs the sports book. And given on what people have bet until that point, they could very easily just be like, okay, player 2, we need you to score.
Yeah, the easiest match fixing ever.
Yeah,
sure,
100%. So,
and yet you win.
50 large.
I'm gonna probably do it again.
I like that.
He won some money. He wanted to let it ride. You know.
Yes.
To that point,
the under was a good play though.
I this may have been on TSN. I was flicking around the other day, and I saw competitive drone racing.
Oh yeah,
and
I've seen that.
And so it's basically the video game thing. These kids are sitting. Looks like esports, but they're controlling drones. And it's inside an arena or a football stadium, and they have a course, so they have these circles they have to fly through. So it's like F1, but they're drones, and they're being run by like 18-year-old kids, and they're unbelievable. These guys,
they're really good. Yeah,
Jimmy, aren't you doing trade deadline day with those guys? Or the drone league?
Drone deadline day. I wanted to say, before we close up here, we've always been very cognizant of our colleagues and what's going on with our colleagues. But Brian Williams retired last week. Yes. Somebody who I met, actually, I was doing a gig. He was still at CBC at the time. And I met him on the gig, and I talked to him. I told him I was with TSN, and we spoke quite a bit and that. And then he came to TSN, and I met him again. So we're in the hallway, quick story, and I'm with Brian and whatnot. And Stu comes up and he says, Stu, do you know Lester? He sings like a bird. He's got a great voice. So supportive of me. But anyway, we talked several times about a lot of things, including, Brian was a big champion of race relations and equality and everything, and just a super guy. So I wanted to make sure I publicly thanked him for all his time with TSN and, quite frankly, his contribution to the Canadian broadcasting industry. So there we go.
Well said, as always, Lester. I was probably going to talk about it next week because we're doing a big goodbye on the Grey Cup, where I'm doing an interview. I'm doing an interview. No, it's all good. Doing an interview with Brian, and we're running a feature. But he is one of a kind. You're right, like absolute legend to do 14 Olympic Games, and I get to watch him every Grey Cup Sunday because I'll be hosting, but he comes in and throws to some features, and we'll interview the commissioner and things like that. And I learned a lot from the guy because first of all, he gets to his desk a couple hours early, which I like to do now. And he rehearses out loud, which is something I don't do. I kind of mumble to myself, but he rehearses out loud, which is really disconcerting if you're sitting there, because he'll do his questions and it'll be like, Ryan Williams here with the commissioner, Randy Ambrosi. Commissioner, how do you feel? How do you feel? How do you feel? What do you think? What do you think? How do you feel? James, what do you think? How do you feel? What do you think? But that's the way he plays himself out, and he's always perfect on television. Yeah. So, as you said, a really good man, legendary broadcaster, and we wish him all the best.
If you could sum him up in one word, I think it'd be professional. Just a constant professional all the way around.
Absolutely.
If you could sum up this podcast in one word, wouldn't be that. We'll see you next time on the Rubber Booth Podcast, brought to you by BetSafe. What was that last thing you added? It was interesting. What the hell was it?
A supply teacher killed the lights and did a karaoke version of Britney Spears' "Toxic."
What's wrong with? Why would he get fired for that? Or kicked
Well,
out?
it's Texas to start, so you're safer off shooting a student than singing in front of one.
Lord have mercy. I don't know what to get this girl for Christmas. I don't know what to get you. I don't know what you need. No idea what to buy you. There very well could be nothing from me under your Christmas tree. I've been looking through the flyers. I tried to do it all online. I broke down and went to the mall and checked every shelf. Everything I bought was for myself. No, I can't shop for you this Christmas. I'm just wasting my time. I can't shop for you, baby. I am running out of time. I can't take all this pressure. Jingle bells are caving in on me. I knelt down and asked the Lord for help from above. Maybe I can find you some socks and some gloves. And I can't shop for you this Christmas. I'm just wasting my time. I can't shop for you, baby. Can't stand waiting in line. No. And this is why I always dread December. But everything will be alright, you'll see. Cause you'll get kisses and cuddles, embraces and hugs. You'll have to settle for my love. Cause you'll get kisses and cuddles, embraces and hugs. You'll have to settle for my love. Cause you'll get kisses and cuddles, embraces and hugs. You'll have to settle for my, you'll have to settle for my, you'll have to settle for my love.